you wanna be crypto savvy, we can help you skip those valleys. Let's rally, yeah. If you wanna be crypto savvy, we can let investments tally. Let's rally, yeah.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Be Crypto Savvy, where we will be jumping into not only the Bitcoin charts today, but Ethereum as well, and we will start doing both of those on a regular basis. And before continuing, I do just want to preface this video by saying that nothing you see here on this channel is ever financial advice, but rather what we are doing is sharing our thoughts and opinions, and this is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. Now, with all that out of the way, let's jump into the charts. Now, we are currently on the daily time frame looking at Bitcoin, and if you remember us talking about this symmetrical triangle, this expanding symmetrical triangle, yesterday we did briefly talk about how we have now had a few daily candle closes outside and above of this symmetrical triangle. That is indicating a breakout. Now, let's quickly jump over to our 4-hour time frame. Alright, instead of jumping into the 4-hour, I actually jumped all the way down to the 1 hour. So if you are following along, why don't you jump into the 1-hour chart with me? Now, I zoomed in here onto this current 5-wave structure we're playing out, so we can kind of just briefly talk about this. Now, the 5-wave structures, I do just want to use this as a quick opportunity just to kind of explain how these work. Now, you have the upward bullish moves here are your first wave, your third wave, and your fifth wave. The second and the fourth wave are your pullbacks. So we come up to the 3 and we pull back for 4. We come up into our 1 and we pull back for our 2. Now, within your 1, 3, and 5, those are going to actually be made out of 5-wave structures themselves. You can see in this first wave down here, we've got 1, 2, 3, pull back to 4, and that's our fifth. So this 5-wave structure builds our first wave, and then our second wave is an A, B, C pullback. Now we are currently in this 3-wave push, and now the third wave is typically going to be your longest wave. If the third wave does not happen to be the longest, it will be the fifth. Now, what we are currently playing out, I'm just going to get this out of the way just for a moment. You can see that we are pushing up and we have had this pullback. Now, I explained in this first wave, we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that builds that first wave. Same thing on the third. We've got our 1, we pulled back for 2, we'll stretch up for 3, have a slight pullback at 4, and then we'll finish out this third wave. We're going to finish out this third wave with that mini 5-wave structure before we have our ABC pullback into wave 4 with our final 5th wave extension coming into play here. Now let me get rid of some of this smaller stuff here just to make it a little bit easier to see. Now that we have that cleaned up, we can see that with this second wave pullback, we can use our Fibonacci extension tool to measure where this third wave, the probability of where this should end. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to pull out our Fibonacci. We're going to measure here to here. Go ahead and move this to that point. Now, with this third wave, we should anticipate this extension coming up into this mid $29,000 area, and then we should end up seeing that ABC pullback with a 5th wave ending up right around into this golden zone that we put into place yesterday. Now, I have jumped over into the 4-hour time frame. I did want to point out one last thing. I threw on the on-chain Bitcoin volume indicator. So what this is telling us is whether Bitcoin is moving onto exchanges or is moving off from exchanges. And the reason that's important is because as we reach higher and higher and get close to this area that we're expecting our 5th wave extension to reach out to, really keep an eye on the amount of Bitcoin that's moving onto exchanges. And I'll tell you why. When we get to these really high levels and people have moved that Bitcoin back onto the exchanges, that's a really great indicator to tell you that they are getting ready to sell. People will take their Bitcoin and move it off from exchanges, which we can see down here where it comes way down. They take it off the exchanges because they're planning on holding it and not selling. Now, when we start seeing all these movements back up, you can see that correlates perfect with this price push up here. And then all of a sudden, we see all the sell pressure pushing us down, and the price correlates the same exact way. So as we get into this area around $30,000 to $32,000, keep an eye on the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges and get ready for a big dump. This is the exact type of situation that whales are constantly looking for, and this is the exact type of situation that retail investors need to be careful of. And this is one of the biggest things for this channel on making sure that our audience is being crypto savvy. Now, when we get to this point and we do have a dump of Bitcoin onto the market and all that sell pressure is put on at once, that is the exact situation where I'm anticipating a sizable ABC correction, and we will have to see how deep that brings us and go from there. I do anticipate that this is more than likely probably the last really big deep correction before we kind of turn things around and actually move into a bull market. Now that's just my take, and I've been repeating that, and I'll stick to it until the information tells me otherwise. So that's all we've got for Bitcoin. Let's just do a quick analysis of Ethereum. Okay, we are jumping into Ethereum. We can see that we are currently sitting at 1812 at the time of recording. We are right inside this red resistance zone that we've been kind of fighting against. You can see that we topped it once here, tried to break through again twice for the second time, and this third time we've made it to the top and are getting rejected. You can see looking at the Ethereum on-chain volume, I do just want to point out these little purple sections down here. This is why we watch the whales. This purple section right down here is where the whales were buying. Now, where does this correlate up here? This correlates with this entire bottom section. What do you think these whales did up here? You think they sold? Probably. How about down here? Look at this next section. The whales started buying from this bottom price here. They continued buying all the way through this bottom price, and then what happened? Price went sky high, and that's actually where we're sitting now, and all that volume is getting put back onto exchanges. So I keep reiterating this. I want everybody to be safe, and I want to make sure that you're protecting your money. If you're holding for the long term, perfect. You don't need to worry about it. Just ride the roller coaster and enjoy it. Now, if we take a closer look at this, we can see that we are getting rejected. I assume the same thing that will happen with Bitcoin is going to happen with not only Ethereum, but the rest of the altcoin market. We are going to hit a bit of a ceiling. We need time to pull back and kind of catch our breath a little bit. You can actually see, let me make our relative strength index a little bit bigger so you can see it. As you can see right down here, we are getting to the upper echelon of our RSI indicator. That is telling us that the move is running out of steam and it needs a second to catch its breath. So we do have a little bit of room, so expect a little bit of a possible push yet. We can probably still push up a little bit higher, maybe towards just a little shy of $2,000 perhaps, making that push before getting rejected. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that for today, and we will jump into another TA tomorrow, maybe get a little bit more in depth with some of that. as for today, I think you folks have been listening to me long enough, and we are going to leave it at that. All right, y'all. Take care. We'll catch you guys on the next video. See ya.
Crypto savvy. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe, yeah.